What's going on, everybody, and welcome back. In this video I'm going to be installing my new adjustable sway bars. So I got the car up right now. I will probably be tackling the rear sway bar first, since from what I've seen you have the most clearance, most access to it, and then everything else I have to do up front anyways. So I'm gonna do all of that at once. But I got the car up on the lift, so I will see you underneath. So for the rear sway bar here, the bolts that hold it on to the frame are 13 millimeter, and then the end links here are 18s. So it's pretty straightforward. For the rear here, I'll probably take the tires off whenever I need to gain access to the sway bar links, just give myself some more clearance. If you need any more clearance, feel free to take your exhaust off, that way it's out of your way. So at the moment I'm not going to back it off all the way. I'm going to leave a little bit on, that way when I go to take it off the end links, it doesn't just fall down straight down. Now that I got that side loosened up, it's the same process on the other. Alright, once you got both sides of the sway bar underneath, or the sway bar mount underneath, you can go ahead and take off the tires. Alright, next you're going to be loosening up or taking off the sway bar end link here and here. These are 19 millimeter sockets, and you're also going to need a pair of channel locks or vice grips, or even a wrench that will fit on the back of here. That way you can hold it in place while you're taking the nut off. If you're only replacing the sway bar, the only one you need to take off is this. I'm taking off both, that way I can replace the sway bar link here. Correction, these are 18 millimeters. Yeah, there it goes. Top one, same thing. Grab the back of it, hold on, and take it off. And you can pop the end link out. Well, maybe. There we go. You're going to just repeat the process on the other side, and then you'll be able to finish taking off the rest of the bolts on the mounts for the sway bar, and then you can drop it and take it out of the car. Alright. Now that both of those are loose, you can now slide the old sway bar out. I will say, if you are able to, take the back of your exhaust off. I probably could, but my exhaust has been kind of a pain lately in trying to put back together, so that's why I'm kind of doing this the slightly more difficult way. So this kit is the BMR adjustable sway bar link, sway bars. So this one here is the rear, and even with the plastic, you can kind of see how much more robust this one is. So I'm gonna open up the other box here. It should have the mounts in it and the bushings to replace it, and I'll get that installed. So I'm getting ready to put the new sway bar up in place. I have my new end links on each side already set, or at least just sitting by ready to go. With the kit from BMR, you are going to be reusing the factory mounting bolts. So don't throw those out. Oh yeah, these so if you can tell, there's a lot of play in these old ones, and these new ones are pretty stiff like they should be. So these were starting to get worn out. I was gonna end up having to replace these anyways later down the road, so this ended up being a good excuse to upgrade and get some new ones. Let's get this put in. So when you're putting this bar back in, it is site specific, so when you're looking at it on the ground, it might not seem that way, but when you put it in, this U needs to be orientated downwards in order for you to be able to put the end links back in properly. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the mounts back up here. I'm just going to do them hand tight for the moment. That way I can readjust when I'm putting the Swaybar end links back in. And just get them hand tight, that way they don't go anywhere. Okay, so if you want to adjust the end links, unfortunately you may have to cut this piece off here on the brake line mount. Otherwise you're not going to be able to really slide it down one way or the other. So for now I'm just going to keep it simple and put it on the very first hole here, just to keep things all nice and easy. So what is nice about the new Swaybar end links is these are adjustable, so I can pivot them however I need to in order to get a proper fitment on that. So I'm gonna have to play around with that, but whenever you get them to the place that you want them to, you tighten this nut up on both sides. That way it can't pivot anymore. Let me. But I will have to just mess around with that a little bit once I get everything mocked up and go from there. But it'll be the same process on both sides of the rear. Getting the Swaybar end link in place, and then get everything tightened up. So before you get everything all tightened down, there's a lot of adjustability in the system. So you're gonna have to make sure to find a good balance between all the gaps. Make sure there's plenty of clearance on both sides. That way when the suspension's traveling, nothing's rubbing or bumping or hitting or anything like that before you get everything tightened down. I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten down the Swaybar end links here and then go from there. These new ones I got seem to be a 19mm. Okay, looks like the bottom one got pretty snug. Top one's good at the moment while I get everything else buttoned up. So once you got everything else kind of tightened up, in order to tighten it down, you're gonna have to tighten the nut here and tighten this bar onto it. That way it's not gonna bend. And then do the same thing with the top nut. And that should be good. So the nice thing about these is when paired with the adjustable sway bar itself, since there's different holes, it's going to require different angles or different lengths on the sway bar link here. So it's a lot easier to get the links to sit in properly as compared to trying to do this with the stock link itself. But important thing is just making sure you have all your proper clearances, make sure it's all tightened down, and then it's really about it as far as the rear sway bar install and links go. The process is mirrored on both sides. There's not any weird differences on one side to the other. Just take some time, take some patience, and it should come out just fine. But that's it for the rear. Once you get everything tightened down, next thing I'm going to do is move on to the front after I get the tires put back on.